Hello and welcome to Gunnar Weiskamp's Web Development. This is Lesson 5, .NET MVC, Action Filters, View Data and Temp Data is what we're looking at. So we will look at action filters and how they help in MVC. View Data and Temp Data gives us the ability to pass around information to other areas of the application. It's quite useful stuff. Let's talk more action, so let's look at that in action. I always I either click too slow or too fast. Okay, so if you want to create my application, I'm using Microsoft Visual Studio 2015 Community Edition. So you bring up Visual Studio, do New, and then Project, as in described in here in A. And then here in B, you'll see the web. Make sure that's selected. Make sure Framework 4.52 is selected. ASP.NET Web Application is selected. You can maybe do it in other versions of Visual Studio as well. But hey. Then in C, when that comes up, make sure empty is selected and MVC. We're creating an empty MVC application as shown here, and then click OK. Right, so without further ado, let's go to our app. So then you should see this empty application here, just with your standard MVC folders. So first of all, let's add a controller. It's going to be an empty one. Home. I'm going to call home. Click that. And we're going to grab all this wonderful code from an app that I have created before. And this guy's still doing his controller stuff. Here he is. Let's get rid of that. Just put our code in. And this is a good time to talk about the code. So as talked about, we're going to look at action filters and view data and temp data. The three action filters we're going to talk about is handle error, output cache, and action name. So yeah, these are the three action filters. There are more. But hey, we're just going to talk about these three. So first of all, handle error. What does it do? What's the magic? So it's like an attribute which you can add to a function here, above a function. So how does it work? Handle error. So for handle error, if an error happens in here, or what we commonly refer to as an exception, or something bad happens in here and the program breaks, all control will be passed off to this error page, which we still need to create. So if something bad happens in here, this error page will be shown. I've got this guy here commented out that I wanted to showcase as well. You can pass a second parameter to the handle error to try to target a certain exception. So if we had this handle error in play, but we haven't, we've got to comment it out, and there was a format exception here that happened as described there, then control would go to the related page, and in this case it would be specific error page. So you can target certain errors that you want as well. Handle error, it can be at function level, and by function level I mean at this type of level, just for this certain process, or you can place your handle error here and put it at controller level. So if you were to do that, whatever happens in all of this code here, if an error happened, control would be passed onto that error page. And I find that a very useful technique, especially if you just want to show a common error page to users. So that can be quite useful and saves a lot of time. Output cache, what does that do? Caching, what does that do? So if you don't always want to go to the database, or you don't always want to enter here into your code and get information all the time, you can cache it in a different area. What's the benefit of that? So just say you have an intensive database action, which does take some time. Every time you bring this page up without this, the user has to wait for its information. Now, if that information doesn't always have to be current, not the latest information, the user might benefit if you cached it, so it's quick. So you won't go in here, he'll just see his information, everybody's happy. And the other side of the benefit of that is also on your server time, because you're not constantly hitting the database, constantly hitting the server, so both parties get a benefit from it. How long can you hold something in that magical other space? You can put a duration here, and in here I put this for 30 seconds. So in our example here, we're going to show the current time on the screen on the related view for this action. We're going to show the current time, and for 30 seconds when we refresh, that current time is not going to change. So that's how we're going to demonstrate that. So that's our output cache. The action name, action filter, how does that work? What that does is, if you type in this URL, you will not go there. Instead, you need to type in this URL, and then you will go to this action. So by using this technique, you can actually create what is known as user-friendly or pretty URLs, search engine optimization URLs, which is a useful technique. So that's your action name. So that's our three that we're looking at today: action name, action name, output cache, and handle error action filters. The other two things that we're demonstrating is our temp data and our view data. How does this work? So both these objects have the ability, that's the view data and the temp data, to hold information in a certain area. So this string will be held in this key value of temp data. This string here will be held in this object in view data. You can call this whatever you want, but they always have to be unique. Otherwise, you can get collisions. So this is held in here by the magic of view data, and the same with temp data. Both can be also shown on the screen or the related view with this guy here. This is our get action for this process, and this will be our post action for this temp data demo. So when we send something back, when we click submit, this will fire, and we're going to see what happens here with our temp data and our view data. What will happen is we will see our temp data information, but we won't see our view data information. So what temp data allows you to do, if you've got some information here that you store for getting on the get process, but you need that information also in your post action, then that comes in very useful. That is not the same with view data. I might have got that mixed up. I sometimes get that mixed up. But that's the benefit there. So if you've got something, a piece of information, if you need a piece of information in the post that was created in the get action of the process, then store it here in temp data, and then you can grab it out here. This guy ends up redirecting to an action, to a thank you page via the redirect to action. And in here we will also look at the contents of these objects, and you'll see both of these have been set to none, because when you do a redirect, temp data and view data loses its information. So that's something to look out for when using these two objects. Let's add, that's a lot of talk, and not enough action. Let's add our error page. First, we have to add a new folder. I want to put it in a shared directory, shared folder. Now we're going to add a view, and we need to, in this case, call it error, because that's going to reference this here. It's going to be all empty without models none of that tick, so let's just click that. While that's off doing that, I want to grab a snippet of code that we also need for our error handling. This tag here needs to be placed in our web config file for the handle error action filter to work as well. What just happened there? Why does it keep doing that? There's something screwy going on here. Okay, come on, computer. Oh, the wonders of, they say, do not work with children, animals, or computers. So, definitely add computers to that list. So we've added in here our little tag in our web config file. So he's all happy now. Let's add a message in. Hi, sorry, error happened. Please contact admin. So that'll come up when the error happens. Obviously, you'd put in a bit more styling and you'd put lots of different stuff in there in a production process or environment. That's our. Have we added? Oh no, so that's our error message. Let's add our views for the rest of the controller. So this is going to be index. It's all empty. So just click add. And we're just going to type in here, if the machine will let me, hello to home page index. You will never see this page because remember, we all get an error here because we're causing an error here to happen by this conversion of a letter into a number, and we'll go to the error page instead. So you'll never see that, hopefully. Let's add a view for our show time. Add. We'll grab that snippet of code. And we'll paste him in. Now we will add one more view for this guy here and add a view. So all that's empty just like before. Let's grab the code. We just need this stuff here. And here we are. So what's happening here, we've got our begin form. He's always required if we're submitting information. I won't go into all the specifics. ViewData and TempData. So here, this is going to demonstrate that we can also use ViewData and TempData to view information in those objects upon the view. And below here we've got our submit button because we want to post back, so we click back. Those are our key pieces of information. So, dare I say it, I think we're ready. We're ready to have this show on the road so we can build. And, whoa, look at this, I've already got one up. So, okay, I'm cheating a little bit. I've already got one up because I want everything to run a little bit quicker for you guys. My computer is not the fastest of machines. So as mentioned before, this is, oh, I've put in the wrong URL, haven't I? Oops, no, I haven't, no, yay. I love it when a demonstration works. This is saying we have an exception. That's a good thing. And what's it saying? Input string was not in the correct format, so we could have gone for a format exception. So that's what we wanted. Now we will not go to the index page, but we'll go to the error page. Ta-da! See, an error has happened. Please contact admin. So exactly what we wanted to happen. You can see here, this is our error HTML page. Let's even call that. So that's the handle error explained. See, we've gone there to our error page, which is, I love it when a plan comes together. So next URL, which is this guy here, we're going to explain our temp data demo. So these two lines of code here is what we're looking at. So we've got a breakpoint in here. We're going to step into it and see these values being set. So yeah, there's not much to see here. We're just setting these values. So that was a bit silly. But we can see here, I should have really shown the view. So the related view, which is this guy here, we can see that the information's come across there, if that helps to explain it. Yeah, so this here is related to this, but the text is from that home controller as we talked about. So that's how the magic of that works. Now if we go back into here, and yeah, so if we go back into here now, when we click create, we'll go into the post action of it. Keep your special attention on what A and B are going to answer, end up as. You're thinking both these values will come back into here. Well, they won't. So let's click create. So let's have a look. So temp data, we can see A has received information. This has gotten its information from this guy. So control of these objects have communicated across. Now B is nothing. So it can't transfer information across over. So those are limitations that you've got to be aware of. So as I mentioned here, this is a good way to transfer information from this function to this function if you need that. But now we're redirecting to this thank you page, as you can see, and have a look. Let's have a look what's going to end up this time in A and B. Let's do that. Here we go. Oh, I stand corrected. The other night I must have been doing something different. Yeah. Yeah, okay. Fair enough. I stand corrected. I have used these techniques before, that's why I was a bit confused. The other night when I ran this code, A was null. Anyway, okay, so temp data is still coming across. B is null, so we can't get any information across there. So I've used this technique before, that's why anyway. So temp data is a very good way of sending information across different functions, as you can see there. Very useful technique, and I have used it in my career. So that's temp data and ViewData, which is pretty cool. Oh, live demonstrations. Whoops, whoa. I've clicked the button too many times. No. The last one I want to demonstrate is showtime. So keep an eye out here. Currently we have 09 seconds. So we've got 09 seconds. 09 seconds, remember that. Right, let's press refresh. So it's set now to 17 because it's obviously not refreshed for a long time, in 52. If I now press refresh really quickly, you'll see this is not going to change at all. 1952.17 still. See, it's still set 1952.17. If we hit refresh again, it'll still be 1952.17. That information is not changing. Even now again, I think we're in the time frame. Oh, there we go, sorry. It did change because 30 seconds was up. 30 seconds was up, so if you remember it was 17, I believe. So now it's 1952.52. So 52.52. So now if we refresh at 53.22, I think. Yes, that's correct. We'll see this change. So this changes every 30 seconds because we go in here. So after 30 seconds, we will enter back in here. So that's the value of cache. So if we probably press now, I think we've exceeded that. It'll go in there. There we go, 53.37. But if we press refresh right now, it won't go in that, it won't change. It takes 30 seconds to change. And obviously you can change it to 40 seconds. We can still refresh it now quickly. It shouldn't have changed. Go on. There we go, it hasn't changed. And again, you can make this duration whatever you want, 40 seconds, 10 minutes, 1 minute. It's quite flexible. So that's a lot of techniques we've talked about today. And I think you will find some of those useful when working with MVC. But I do thank you guys for sticking around. I hope you've got something out of this. I do like bringing you these presentations. Feel free to visit my website at goodonweisskamp.com, and I hope you have a good day. So thanks for watching.